I guess Facebook is trying to change the video interface, and I'm like, okay, I'll help you out, figure out your research and development. And I don't like the interface. It's not easy, and you can't see the things you want to see. So I don't know why they have to keep changing things that aren't broken, but I guess they have to still be relevant. But anyways, I want to make sure I put all of this together as far as how everything is connected when it comes to what people do as their behaviors with other people in the world, and then how it translates to the health. And one of the biggest words out there is pain and discrimination. Okay, discrimination is like one of the biggest words out there, because it's been politicized, and it's only been used in the context of race and ethnicity and sexual orientation. But it's never really been used, I mean, the word discrimination has never really been used in the world of health and wellness as an indicator of imbalance. And so that's one of the biggest concepts when it comes to the Jilly Juice, because we came from a world of discrimination when it came to foods, when it came to drugs, when it came to diets, which is the same thing, when it came to herbs and extracts, and when someone makes a concoction in their kitchen that is antibiotic and anti-inflammatory, they say it's great for everybody except for the people that have like thyroid issues. It's great for these people except for these people. And when you have something that is discriminatory in nature, I mean literally and figuratively, then you're not working with a universally healthy type of product. You're working with something that is antibiotic, which is anti-life, and that if somebody has less, or somebody has more issues, less oomph to keep them alive, then that product that this person is selling would take them over the edge. And so that's why I was asked by the Ohio Attorney General if my recipe was antibiotic, and it's not. It's probiotic, and I proved it by sending it to a food lab. So that right there is an indicator letting you know that if you are selling anything that is antibiotic, that is a type of poison. Antibiotic is anti-life. Probiotic is pro-life. However, you can have too much lactic acid, right? So it's not just, drinking probiotics because it's what it's paired with is what the difference is. But that's the whole point of why I was so scrutinized by the government, by all the different people out there, is because they didn't realize that Jilly Juice is not antibiotic. And they were under the assumption that it had to be FDA approved. But anything that's FDA approved has antibiotic qualities, okay? And it has to be relatively safe for the general population, which means that it's not so antibiotic that it's like completely poison, where it's on the list of the Poison Control Center, it doesn't have a Poison Control Center number, and it's not a controlled one substance or something. Okay, that's how you know something is poison, where it has to be FDA approved. Well, they don't need to FDA approve sauerkraut unless it's made in a lab and sold commercially. That's the only reason why you FDA approve anything, is because it's made in a commercial, it's made for commercial distribution. Okay, so anything that is FDA approved, you have to be aware of and be wary of. So when somebody sells you something to where they say like, oh, well, only a certain people can drink it and other people can't, you have to be wary of that. When somebody is selling you an oil, which is an antibiotic, you have to be wary of what it is. Okay, I'm going to hit some, hold on a second. Hello. Yeah, this new interface is so weird. I hope you guys can see it. But anyways, so discrimination. See, and that's the whole thing with the jelly juice. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't discriminate at all. People that don't realize it's working, jelly juice. But jelly juice works for everybody. 100% everybody. There isn't like, oh, only this person can do it, but that person can't. No, everybody can do it. Whether they want to do it or not is the difference. Is really what's the key thing. Whether they understand it, whether they want to do it, whether they want to, deal with the upgrade process, the healing process. That's the only difference between why a person would do jelly juice and why they would not. But jelly juice works for everybody. Jelly juice doesn't discriminate. But guess who discriminates? The pills, the powders, the supplements, the detoxes, the antibiotics, the anti-inflammatories, the antifungals, the anti-parasites, the antimicrobials. Okay? All of those, the turmeric, the honey, the the elderberry syrup, the Cipro, the kombuchas, the silver, the garlic, it's all very discriminatory because if you take too much of it, it is antibiotic because garlic is antifungals. You'll destroy the fungus that your body needs. You'll destroy the yeast and render you very, very imbalanced, causing more antibodies. Okay? And you're killing off life forms in your body that your body needs to be able to function. Okay? So discrimination in any way, shape, or form is a sign of imbalance in body, mind, and spirit, in foods, in cultures, in sexual orientation, in everything. So that's one of the biggest things that people have to understand is that there is no discrimination with the jelly juice world. Everybody can do it. And it works for everybody. Just some people don't know that it's working. Okay? They're like, oh my God, I'm in pain. And it's not antibiotic. So if you're in pain and you're doing jelly juice, makes you wonder what that pain's from. Oh, it's probably because you brought to the table predispositions that you have to finally deal with. That you can't be anesthetized and drugged out on all the latest prescription drugs or illicit drugs. See, all the drug addicts in our society that are so used to drugging themselves out fear pain. And they will try to warn people about the jelly juice because they're so used to drugging themselves out that they can't possibly fathom the fact that they have to actually face the pain. Okay? And so that's why you have not everyone, you have a lot of people just tripping out on the power of jelly juices because, well, jelly juice is not poison. It's been tested in a lab. It's a probiotic. It's cabbage water and salt. How the heck, why are some people in pain more than others? Why do people have different journeys? And it's because you brought to the table so many predispositions that you have to finally deal with it. And then all the years that you have been suppressing your immune system, suppressing the pain, has actually compounded your issues exponentially. So maybe the antimicrobials, the antifungals, the antiparasites, the antibiotics, the anti-inflammatories, the antibacterials are really poisons to the body because it's anti-life, anti your microbiome. Your microbiome is made up of parasites, protozoa, proteins, fungus, bacteria, viruses. Okay? And if you are inhibiting the cell replication at the micro level, and you're doing is killing off the cells or rendering them chemically inert, then what you're doing is you're chipping away, taking your life down brick by brick by brick. And if you have malnourishment, malnutrition from malabsorption, then you're not regenerating faster than you are degrading or destroying or inhibiting. And it's all fractional proportions. So the more you inhibit cell replication at the micro level, you're basically going to destroy yourself at the macro level. And then you'll trigger reproduction, have 1 million babies, maybe, and then you pass away. Look at your grandparents. Look at your mom and dad. Okay? So it's all pretty much fractions, science, proportions. You know, it's all basic chemistry. It's physics. Okay, that's all Julie Juice is physics, chemistry, and science. Empirical data. People want to throw these words around at me. Oh, I listen to only empirical data. Well, what the fuck are you studying? You're not studying the right stuff. You're only looking at the intention because you have been normalized to say that it's okay to destroy your body with antibiotics, so you don't have to deal with pain. And then you go and make people wrong with politics. And then you distract yourself with how capitalism is so horrible, and you think communism is so great because your body is that weak, and so you can't possibly give 100% of yourself because you're not very healthy. So that's the attitude that's out there, is that people want to keep themselves in a very low vibration, in a very disabled state, and they want to justify it. Okay, and then that's where the politics come in. That's where you have the right versus the left. Now, we should have a mixed, economy, because we have so many different people and we all do live together depending upon each other. But now we're looking at the social distancing thing and realize that we really don't need each other as much as we think we do. I mean, we do, but we don't. I've been doing this social distancing for a while now. I've been home for the last 4 years. Okay, I don't go off and do too much. I don't feel like I have to go and be so productive, like physically. But I have the luxury that my husband is like that. He's enough energy as far as producing, he for the both of us. However, I've been just as busy too, but I do it at home. I did everything online where I don't have to go out there. Because I'll tell you that the economy here is either you're in the service industry or, you have like a college degree and you're in some job, but there really isn't a very vibrant economy here in Ohio. It's mostly factories. And maybe if you're connected, you can kind of get into a certain job because, you're friends with somebody who has connections to the local government. That's kind of how it works out here. Okay, not saying I couldn't, go to a bigger company, but I never felt that I was contributing at my potential working for a call center, working for the insurance. I knew there was something bigger that I had to do and needed to do, or I needed to fix myself 100% to be able to compete at the level that I wanted to compete, that I knew I didn't have. But I had to get my body, mind and spirit as healthy as can be. And that's what I looked at memory today about the insurance. Because yeah, I agonized over that, the life insurance test as well as the auto home property and casualty insurance test. Both of them were very difficult, but like anything, you spend a week closed up and just do tests and questions over and over and over again and immerse yourself 100% into something, because yeah, you can go to a class and take the class, but it doesn't mean you're going to remember everything. So what you do is you just keep immersing yourself and in a way brainwashing yourself in the information to where you tap into your short-term memory. And then you're just in this zone, and then you go and take the test, and it's like, and then finally when you're done with the test and you passed it, you forget everything. So those are some of my techniques in passing state tests, is you brainwash yourself for like a week. But here I've done my brainwashing for the Jilly Juice for the last 4 years, but it's not really brainwashing, it's more just the research and substantiation, of which you guys have the luxury to go and check upon, go behind me and look at my work. Okay, you can go look at everything, every single link that I've put out there. You can look at every single theory that I've substantiated and see the connections. Like, nothing is hidden. I mean, the book that I lent my book out to somebody, but my old book had all the bibliography of where I got my information. Lulu, my publisher, makes sure that I have the proper links, the proper references. They don't like Wikipedia. They don't like blog sites, which they shouldn't, because you don't take information from Wikipedia or blog sites. You take information from something that has been already peer reviewed from academia. And then we're peer reviewing the peer review. And we're testing and experimenting and none of it's poisonous. And so we're just reporting on the results. And that's what my group is about. My group is not for someone that's really a beginner. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Some people have been watching me for like months and months and months. And finally they want to do it. And then the trolls in there see someone that's first time doing it, and they go after that newbie. It's interesting, the dynamic, because some people have been doing this for a while, or they've already have testimonies, and they haven't come out in the beginning saying like, oh, they're all gung-ho and everything, right? They do it, and then they report on their testimony. And so what kind of oomph does the trolls have on that person? None. But the only control that the trolls have on people are people who are very new, that just started it, that just started making it, and they're getting their family involved with it, and they've told their story. And so the trolls try to drive a wedge, try to induce fear, which is really the vetting process. That's why I don't really open up the group to strangers too much. I don't let people add their friends. Oh, hell no. Nobody adds their friends in my group. My group is invite only by me. If I've dealt with you in some way, shape, or form, or I feel like you could get benefit given my interaction with you because you've been my friend on Facebook. So, I mean, everybody can watch my information. Not everybody has to be in the group. You don't have to do the protocol and be in the group. Okay, you can just do the protocol, and then if you want to join the group to report on your results because you can't keep this to yourself, then that's a great place to do it. But I don't want newbies in my group. Like newbies, or strangers too much. I do have a few. I think I got rid of one troll the other day. I think is a troll. I don't know, but it was weird because they reported a video in my group, and I can see who reported the video. Why would you report a video? Okay, so that was her mistake. I kind of figured after a couple months of like not hearing from this person, and they were sending me like emails about all of the drama, the court stuff, trying to show me, that they were trying to help me out and be a kind friend, stranger friend. And yeah, back then I was kind of weak and going through all of the court stuff and the media and all of that stuff. And finally, I get a new person in there that shared a video, her first video. And that same person that was helping me last summer when I was going through all that stuff reported the video. They thought they reported it to Facebook. No, they reported it to me, and I saw who did it. I'm like, oh, that's funny. That's interesting. Why would you report this video and this is a new video? Because when you hit report, it says that a person is concerned with the content, and they want somebody to take a look at it and judge whether or not it's appropriate. It's like, come on, you just outed yourself. So, yeah, you report anything in my group, I'm going to kick you out because there should be nothing to report. Unless there's truly, what you should do is tag me. If there's really anyone in there that's posting or commenting things that are really, anti-group or complete whatever, I would, you can screenshot something and send me a private message. But if you're reporting something like a video, if I don't see it, I'm not going to worry about it. There's somebody, if I usually see people that comment. I don't catch everything 100% because I don't really need to go. I don't want to moderate the group like that. If I have to moderate the group like that, and if somebody, keeps making me come back to that same person, done. But there are people that are new that I understand that really want to do this and can do this, and I will give a little more time. But anyways, so I don't have the group grow at an exponential rate. But yeah, the trolls are your first vetting process. If you can get past the trolls and the fear and the trolls and all the misinformation, oh my God. And here's the thing, I saw this movie, this documentary series called The Tiger King. Oh my God, you guys, if you have Netflix, you should watch it. Because it reminded me of all of my back and forth with the media and how they were they were targeting each other. It was like, where there's two people that were basically at war with each other through social media, through the news, through campaigns. And this is before even social media, but way back when they didn't have an easier way to track somebody's tour. So this Tiger King that would go and take their tiger cubs And he was like a zoo that's not like out in Africa, but a zoo here in America, because there's a lot of tigers that are captive in America, and that's what that documentary series was about, was a guy that basically had his own zoo of exotic animals, and then he would go and exploit them by taking them to malls and charging money and all this stuff. And then some activist group, pet activist groups or animal activist groups, were trying to go after him. And they, before social media back in the 70s, they were movements and then go and write to the different malls, say, hey, you shouldn't be hosting this guy exploiting these animals. They should be out there, in the wild, not behind cages and all that stuff. But their fight reminded me of so much what I dealt with, where it was a targeting campaign, and they went back and forth to such and such, like where he was so imbalanced that he took it to the next level and then started plotting that person's death. No, we jelly juicers are not going down that road. It's not that, believe me, I felt in a way like when somebody was targeting me that I was like going to fight them tooth and nail, and I would take it to court. I wouldn't go and do something illegal such as that. If anybody harasses me or any of you, you go through the law. Never ever do anything vigilante, because that would take every credibility out of you if you start, doing vigilantism. No, you go through the court system, you do everything legal. Okay? When you do everything legal, nobody can stick anything to you because you did it the legal way, the proper way. So I was prepared to go to court against everybody. But was it really worth the time to go after everybody? No. Really, what the best weapon is against people who want to attack you and discredit you is with information. If you know how to put out information and you know how to speak to people's doubts and fears and intentions, then it's not going to matter what they say or do, because you have the information. It's been substantiated. It's been already proven through peer review, through academia, biotech, the government, and all you're now doing is speaking to the ignorance of people's assumptions and what they listen to on the internet, which everybody, that lady Carol Baskin, that this guy Joe Exotic, he was up against, she was saying that they were abusing. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. I don't know. Right? So people can make accusations, but what it comes down to is the proof. It's through a court of law. Well, it ends up that Joe Exotic had to go to jail because they had enough information on him to say that, or to substantiate where he had to go to jail. Well, everybody in my group, there are people in my group that are watching, that are reporting to the other, the naysayers. Everything is transparent on Facebook. I'm transparent. My books are transparent. Transparency is a new wave of the future. Not hiding behind sock accounts, not hiding behind your computer and saying one thing and doing another. It's about putting your face out there. It's about putting your testimony out there. It's about putting your information out there. But if you're hiding behind your sock accounts, you're hiding behind fake profiles, if you're hiding behind your words and your text, and you're not putting a face to a name where people know who you are, then your credibility is not very strong. It's strong enough because even the written word can make someone be like, oh my God. But it's not going to carry as much weight as if you were to get on Facebook Live and you speak to all the bullshit that's out there. Okay? And so that's why the media is very powerful, because they can get on Facebook Live, they can get on the TV and the movies and speak to people's emotions and fears and influence them in any which way, shape, or form. Okay? So you have to understand the power of being transparent. And that's what I expect from people around me, is if you're going to work with the Jilly Juice world, you got to be transparent. Okay? You got to be transparent, which means you have to understand how to speak to not only your situation, but also the information about Jilly Juice. You got to know it. And some of you are still training to do that. Some of you need to write a book, and you will eventually one day. But to really carry a lot of weight in the Jilly Juice world, you got to learn how to make mistakes, no fear, and be out there. Because I tell you, all the trolls out there are out there. And I've had a bunch of people that were like, Man, that movie reminded me of all the BS that I had to deal with from that one chick with the eyebrows. Remember that? I wonder how she's doing. I hope she's doing okay. I know she really was on a definite roll with the thinking that I was, going to be taken down. But there's no taking down something that is so helpful to people, that is so revolutionary. Okay? But yeah, that movie reminded me of those days, or that documentary reminded me of those days where it was mano y mano. It was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back. I mean, it was like a soap opera back then. And if somebody was that imbalanced, if I really had an axe to grind, if I was really that psychotic, I would still be in that same fight. When you move past all of the controversy, when you move past all the fights, when you move past all the things that had you loop in the drama on a continuous basis, even if it's for a year or two, when you finally move past that, you are evolving. When taking somebody down isn't your focus anymore, that's evolution. Imbalanced people, they are obsessed with another person or a thing or an idea that is about destroying, not building up. And then that's all, I guess, based upon your perspective. Some people think that jelly juice destroys people, but there is actually no evidence because it's probiotic. It's pro-life. So if something is antibiotic, anti-life, you should then check all your friends that are selling MLMs and kratom and all the different drugs that are antibiotic. So if you want to get on a big and get an obsession, go after the people that are selling antibiotics. That's everybody in your community, especially those who are trying to come after jelly juice. You know why? Because they know that their stuff is antibiotic. And now more than ever, you cannot be selling antibiotics and anti-inflammatories to people with this coronavirus. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of people coming in my group, that are in my group that are dealing with coronavirus, that been exposed to it, and they can't afford to do the anti-inflammatories, the antibiotics. They're even saying that, Tylenol is the only drug, if you're going to take any drugs, to take while you're dealing with this coronavirus. That says a lot. And even Tylenol, I'm like, why not just do the freaking J juice? But yeah, I mean, just be careful, because when people take too much cannabis, when they take too many of the herbs and the extracts and the things that are antibiotic, they're like, there's not cannabis is an antibiotic. Well, what it is, it induces hormones in your body to cause hormonal imbalances. It is a type of antibiotic. It creates antibodies. So you have to understand that, yeah, there is a place for everything, and jelly juice plus then whatever herbs or plus then whatever medications is a great combination if you can't get away from your drugs and alcohol and sex and whatever. But eventually the intention is not to be living off of herbs, alcohols, and drugs and sex forever as a way to anesthetize you. But you should always have jelly juice in some way, shape, or form if you're taking antibiotics, herbs, okay, antimicrobials, anti-parasites, which you really shouldn't be doing anyways. But if you have to take something for pain, okay, fine. If you feel you have to. Some people are on prescription drugs, okay. So the whole point of the J juice is to face everything that you have suppressed for such a long time. Everything. And you stop blaming. You stop blaming the things that you were an activist. Okay, you stop blaming the vaccines, you stop blaming the chemtrails, you stop blaming the 5G. Because I'm around 5G all the time, and guess what? I've upgraded and healed despite that I'm around 5G. I have 5G in my house, Wi-Fi. I'm on 5G right now. And, I having to adjust to this environment because there's 8 different coronavirus strains floating around, plus the flu strains, which I had, I've been around the flu the last couple of years and haven't even got a lick of a symptom. So the flu is really not a strong strain, but the flu backed up with the coronavirus. Holy crap. Okay? So, at some point, You're gonna, now that we realize we don't really need each other as much as we think we do, that we're okay to just sit and drink the juice and travel within. Now that your movements are being stilted because they're afraid of people getting hit by it, and where the hospitals have to then go and make a decision on who it is they save with a ventilator. Not everyone's going to do the J-juice, that. So you better protect your friends and family. Because I've seen people that are like, say they got over a sickness, and say what kind of sickness, and they're out there in California going to taco trucks, going all over the place. They're like, oh yeah, I feel so great. I feel better now. And they're still communicable. They just got over some kind of crazy sickness that they said that they'd never felt this way before. And now they're out there freaking mixing in with people, passing the virus around, whatever it is. Okay? So maybe it's time to sit at home with your kids or with yourself, drink the juice, reflect, dream, study your society by watching movies, watching the internet, watching your Facebook family. Learn how to be okay with being chill. I learned how to be okay with just being at home, doing the J-juice, doing my book, doing all of my Facebook lives. I'm so comfortable at home, and if I need to travel, I will, but obviously no one's traveling now, and if they are, they're dumb. Okay? So now it's time, you guys, to just kick back, relax, get off your soapboxes, drink the J-juice, the new recipe, and watch your body evolve. Because you're going to have to deal with this virus no matter what. They just want you to slow it down because they can't handle the deluge of people at the hospitals. It's not because they're trying to say, okay, the virus is going to disappear. The virus is not going to disappear. April 30th, or whatever Trump is saying, is not going to be this magical number. People are just like, oh yeah, if you stay at home, the virus will disappear. It's not going to disappear. You guys have to realize that the virus will never disappear, because there's always going to be somebody that's communicable, that's going to pass it around. And when you are symptomatic, you are more communicable. And when you're asymptomatic, you're not as, but you're still communicable. And there's always going to be somebody that's going to catch it and go through the symptoms, communicate it to others, so to speak, and someone else is going to catch it. It'll be a new strain. So this virus is never going to end. Okay? It's not going to disappear. So you're going to have to force yourself to deal with your new environment. And that's the whole point of J-juice. It's not to anesthetize you. It's not to drug you. It's not to say, okay, it's going to kill the virus. No, the J-juice doesn't kill the virus. Nothing kills a virus. A virus needs a host. If the host dies, the virus dies. But do you really want to go down that road where you have so many people dead and only the healthy that are non-communicable will be alive? Or you want to give people a chance to transition into the new environment? But they have to have help along the way. They may have to have their drugs. They may have to have their ventilators. But the only way to kill a virus is to kill the host. That's really pretty grim statistics when you think about it. We wouldn't have a virus if we didn't have biodiversity. We wouldn't have any viruses if we didn't have animals, if we didn't have humans, if we didn't have insects. So now you have to figure out, okay, so the only way to kill a virus is to kill the host, which is basically life. Then how do you adapt to it? See, that's the key thing, what people don't understand. So, our government is trying to keep you guys calm with some hope. But the only way you disappear a virus is if you kill a virus, is to kill the host, and that's not going to happen. So now we have to help people transition to this new virus. And if that means that you stay away from your friends and family because you give a shit about them, because you could be a carrier and not know it, you do that. If that means if you know about Jilly Juice, then share it. Because it doesn't make sense to keep something like this to yourself unless you absolutely have no idea how to even explain it, which by that time, which at that point, it's okay, you don't have to talk about Jilly Juice, just do it. And then maybe one day you'll know how to talk about it if you listen to me enough. But no matter what the 5G, the chemtrails, the vaccines, you're going to have to adapt to your environment. And if you cannot adapt, then all of your soapbox and activism is for naught. Thanks, Caroline. Yeah, that's one of the biggest things that we have to remember. And I'm going to rename this transmission to the only way to kill the virus is to basically kill the host. Hey, Melrose. Hey, honey. And we don't want to kill the host because all of you guys are hosts. Oh, the laundry is downstairs. Jay? Okay. So yeah, the only way to kill a virus is to kill the host, and we're not trying to kill any host. So the host has to adapt, and if the host cannot adapt, then yeah, that's why they've been cremating bodies, because that's the only way they can kill off the virus in that person, so they're not communicable. That's why they don't bury the bodies, because the bodies that are buried are still communicable, so they burn them. So if you want to kill off a virus, then you're going to kill off yourself. So it's not about killing off the virus, it's about adapting and supporting your body to handle the transition. Okay? So that's one of the biggest takeaways as far as viruses and jelly juice, and why I'm antimicrobial. That's why I'm anti pills, powder supplements, and detoxes, because they do chip away at your microbiome. In essence, chips away at you. All right, so I'm going to go and do my thing, but that's just something to remember. The only way to kill off a virus is to kill off the host, and the host is you. Have a good day. Learn how to adapt. Don't kill anything off, and don't discriminate. Understand the indicators of mucus, and understand jelly juice. Bye.